Season MVP. This obviously is probably the most important award, just in general. If you're looking at legacies, this has been a very, very good award for Atlanta FaZe in particular. So, past season MVPs, the first CDL MVP was Shotzi in 2020. Simp won in 21, Celium won in 22, Hydra in 23, and then Simp became the first two-time winner last season and won it in 2024. Before this season, you picked Scrap as your season MVP. I predicted Celium as my season MVP. Funnily enough, I believe for both of us, they probably will be the top two MVP candidates as well. However you break it down, they're going to be one and two. I think in terms of our picks and just in general with how the MVP voting works when it is eventually released. Did you make a top five? If so, start at the back and work your way to the front.
Okay, so I did this last year, I believe, too, where my fifth spot was sort of basically like that this person isn't gonna win MVP, but they deserve, some credit. And I believe last year I did Kleenex
Mm,
as my fifth candidate, and then the rest of it, the 4 through 1, was the first team All Stars. So on a similar note, this year I've got Neptune at 5. Um, don't think Neptune is the actual MVP. We've had this conversation on a couple of podcasts now, just the impact he had turning Vancouver's season around. He gets, I don't think he wins the award, but if he gets like fifth place MVP votes, it's kind of like, just like a special nod. I guess it's not gonna move the needle much, and I don't think realistically anyone could be uh the actual MVP outside of the 4 people above him. So like the fifth spot is kind of just like whatever in my mind. But
yeah,
I feel
same.
like Neptune did enough to, at least get a nod and a vote in my mind. Um and then really, like you said, I mean, 4 and 3 um could be interchangeable, but I have Hydra at 4 and Simp at 3. I think Hydra, kind of broke it down on the All-Star team there. Hydra deserves to be an All-Star, is an absolute freak and really good player, but doesn't have an individual MVP for a major this year. So my 3 candidates above him have MVPs at the majors. I think that only makes sense because if they were MVPs of individual tournaments, they deserve that sort of same recognition for the season overall. So narrowly edging out Hydra at 4, I put Simp at 3, 2 titles with FaZe, and 1 tournament MVP. I put Cell at 2, 2 titles with FaZe, 1 individual MVP, and then Scrap, overall season MVP with 2 titles and 2 tournament MVPs. I broke it down that way over a couple episodes now, even when we weren't like directly talking about it, but just because, same number of titles as the FaZe guys, but he has the individual MVP over Simp and Celium, one additional, I should say. Um, that's where I'm leaning with Scrap. And I mean, if you look at the KDs too, it's Celium's up there with a 1.17 on the season, and Scraps right behind him at a 1.14. Hydra actually with a 1.13, right behind Scrap. So, like 3-4. Simp has a 1.08. If you wanted to switch Hydra and Simp, I wouldn't, think much of it, but I really think it's a 2 horse race in my mind, especially given the individual accolades, the team success, and the KDs. Scrap and Cell are so close in all these regards. But I give the nod to Scrap.
So I had the same exact five as you, except I did flip Simp and Hydra. I had Hydra at 3, Simp at 4. Now that I heard you talk about it, I probably would flip them back and have the same exact five as you. Because really wasn't considering that Simp had the tournament MVP and Hydra did not, and I think those. I just think historically you're going to look back on these awards and like your selections, and I think it's a lot easier to explain why Simp would be over Hydra. Like, not that it will actually matter because neither of them
Yeah.
are going to win MVP, but like if Celium and Scrap, like they have this difference, right? There is not much difference in their stats, and there's not much different in the accolades other than Scrap has one additional tournament MVP. And I think that will end up mattering, especially when Hydra is also on your team. Like, that also tells me that you were able, at least for those two events, to be better than what I would consider. I think he was the third best player, Hydra, but I think in terms of the most valuable, or I guess the most outstanding like season, then probably Simp gets it because of the award. But like the fact that Scrap still beat Hydra in those two events to get tournament MVP, that probably does matter, and that's why Scrap is number one. I would probably flip and put Simp at 3, Hydra at 4, and yeah, I did have Neptune at 5 as well. I just don't. I was trying to think of people to put in that spot otherwise, so I referred back to the All Star teams and just, okay, like, do I put Ghosty? Do I put Draza? What about Joe? Is there a case for someone like Ray Al? Is there a case for Rincour or Super? And at the end of the day, I couldn't get myself to that. I think Neptune just has such a great case because you saw the before and you saw the after. You saw the
Yep.
value that he actually brings to a team, and regardless of if he played the entire season or not, he played enough of the season, and he did so much in that part of the season, more so than Joe Deceives, who has not had the heights that Neptune has had, frankly, like this season, despite playing a little bit longer of the year than Neptune. Envoy, I just couldn't put like I Envoy or Ghosty. I just couldn't say that all three, three of the
Yeah,
LAT
yeah.
guys should be in the top five. Same with Draza or Abizi. And then I just didn't think that Rincour Super definitely didn't play enough. But like if Super had been able to play this whole season, and who knows what happens at maybe like Major One, for example, where they get top three, could Miami have gotten into the grand finals? Then it starts to become a conversation. But obviously that didn't happen. So yeah, Neptune's at 5 for me, which is just an incredible story by itself. For him to, I think he'll get some MVP votes. I don't think it'll be any first or second place votes, but I
Yeah.
definitely think he'll be on a lot of people's ballots.